Scorpio, this is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. It is for Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. And it is going to be a doozy of a week. Get ready for a lot of really uncomfortable truths to come up, because I think a lot of what we wanted to believe is now absolutely unacceptable. However, there is a level of truth that is liberating about this entire process. We're going to go over the astrology as I go through the cards. This reading is for Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. It absolutely comes to you whenever it's supposed to come to you. So I wouldn't worry about the dates. The astrology is happening on specific dates, but you can think of that as energy hitting like a pebble in a pond, and then the ripples will reach you when it reaches you. So this message is coming at you at the time that it's meant, that your ears are meant to receive it. Scorpio, it's all going down in the house of Scorpio this week. You've got a new moon, solar eclipse. I've been misspeaking. It's not a lunar eclipse, it's a solar eclipse on a new moon. So the moon is dark and the sun goes dark. Out in the UK, you probably will be able to see this. You will not be able to see it if you're in the States, because even if you're out in Hawaii, it would be nighttime when it's happening. So you wouldn't really be able to see a solar eclipse at night. And definitely West Coast, East Coast, it's happening so early in the morning that the sun hasn't even risen yet. But it is a solar eclipse. And what that means is that the sun is doused, or the ego is doused. The shine is doused. And that happens in Scorpio anyway, so it kind of doubles down on darkness. Now, you guys do very well in the dark, right? The issue is many other people do not. When we go into the dark, this is a kind of a darkening of the ego, which is the sun, and then vanity, which is Venus. Later on in the week, Mercury will come in, but let's just talk about what's happening, especially around the new moon. What this means is that egos and vanity and glamour of all kinds are going to be doused. And what that means is they're going out, they're being put out. What is happening then is we are forced to see the beauty that is inside of things. And the real, hold on. Excuse me. Someone told me that a sneeze means that you're speaking the truth. Comment below if you've heard this, and if you've heard anything else. I would love for you to comment below too. While you're at it, like this video, because I really appreciate it and it helps the algorithm. But getting back to what I was saying, we'll only be able, when you see in the dark, you don't see with your eyes, you don't see the glamour, it doesn't impact you. But you can find gems. Think of the underworld, the Scorpio underworld, as the place where all the diamonds and rubies and gemstones are hidden. And you really have to know how to look for them. You can find a buried treasure, usually a buried treasure that might have gone out of memory, since both Neptune and Jupiter, especially Neptune though, is in a very difficult aspect, or a challenging aspect, to this new moon and solar eclipse. There's just this sense of we've forgotten, or a sense of amnesia, and a sense of disconnect in a lot of ways from our spiritual selves, that has kind of led us to, I want to show you the cards that I pulled so far, that has kind of led us to this point where we're just kind of like knocking around in the dark. It could really make you feel very frustrated this week. There's a lot of opposition from Uranus, so that means that major changes are going to occur with regards to how you value things, and how value kind of like affects you, how you see value in general. Or the more harsher lessons could be, what have I overvalued that really had no value at all? And this could come in a lot of really painful ways, like overpaying, paying for things that basically, where have I gotten bamboozled? Right? And for those people who have been pulling tricks on other people, It'll become very transparent now. None of the glamour will save you this week. And none of the glamour will save people who have been lying to you this week. And it will frustrate you and it will anger you, but it will also liberate you so that you can go ahead and make much better decisions for the weeks to come. Let's get into the cards. Take time out and know your worth. Oh, and that's what you got to do. This is about deep breaths. And the reason why this is coming up in the cards is because you're going to need to take a lot of deep breaths this week. But I do believe that you are dealing with something that is quite formidable. And usually when bear comes up, this is an institution. So it's an authority figure, a person in your life, or it's an institution. And we all know how really difficult it is to go up against institutions, whether they're corporate, professional, government, it doesn't matter. It's just a bear of an obstacle that that you have to deal with. It feels like in a lot of ways you're being bullied. Someone is trying to bully you. And I don't mean to bring that down and make it all remedial like it's high school, but that's what it feels like. And this is the thing, especially because you're so intuitive, you'll know that the bully ain't all that. But the problem is everybody else thinks so. And so even if there's not any intrinsic value in the bully, there is social value. Or just because it's been socially accepted, there's this value about this formidable force, this person or this institution that's coming at you. The second card that I'm seeing, know your worth. So let's put it this way. David, Goliath. That's the challenge. However, who won? Know what I'm saying? That's what I really want you to focus on this week, is that you are not the only one that is realizing or it's dawning on you. There's going to be a light in the dark, I think, for a lot of people. So you are not alone in your struggle or your challenge or whatever you have just unearthed. You're not alone. And I feel like the more you talk about what's going on with you, the more you'll find the help that you actually need. Because where you're angry and pissed, other people have been too. And I guarantee a few people are ahead of you and have found solutions. So definitely talk about this and reach out. Why am I saying this to you? Because of the astrology. Mars is going retrograde this week, which will impact your energy levels. Absolutely. But Mars is in Gemini, so it's definitely a good time, especially when those energy levels are low and your patience is all fed up and you just don't want to handle any of this, to put action into collecting information from others. Because Mars, which is also a ruling dignitary of Scorpio, is trine to all of this activity, which means it's a more harmonious solution to the problem. To hear and listen to other people's experience and what other people have to say and what other people have found out. It is through conversation with other folks that you're going to get the answers to your problems. Now, let's go deeper because we've only scratched the surface. Scorpio, I'm going to go through the astrology as we go, but we're going to get into the past, what's led up to this, and then we will get into the future and where things are headed. And then, of course, there's an extended reading, which I do hope you'll join me for. Those links are always below in the description box, and I also pin it to the top of the comment section for you. Okay. I will tell you this right now. If you are dealing with anything institutional, do not trust it. Because what came out in the future was this card. Y'all see that, right? That's the eagle, but he's upside down, which means, and right side up, spirit has your back. No, you're all alone in this. And there's a sense or a feeling of, wow, being really let down by somebody that you thought had your back. Finally being able to see it. Because of this energy that's floating around you this week, there's no more shits to give, you know? And there's no more excuses to be made. Things are just very, very evident that somebody was not working in your favor. This is definitely a sense of underhanded business. I like this for you because A, it means you're right about what you've been sensing for a while. And what did I tell you weeks ago? Nothing that comes out is gonna surprise you. You kind of had the feeling for a while. The hints were there. And so now it's just piecing the information together so you know what to do with this. We're gonna find out what to do with this, okay? Let's go into the past. Spirit has a plan. So it starts out with really good intentions. It also starts out with a sense of trying to look into the future and saying, you know, what's best for me then? It's also saying that, yeah, I want to stop there. Spirit has a plan. It's like you needed to do this. This was something that you had to do. And you went into it sort of wide-eyed and trusting. There is a very benevolent feeling in the past, as in, the intentions were really, really good. But what happened? Sweet results await. This is Leo energy. And then time to let go. This is Scorpio energy. The clash between the ego and the id, I understand. So the intentions were wonderful. But you've heard the old expression. The problem is the intentions aren't necessarily the reality, right? And that's the big issue here. You were working hard, but at the same time, something never set right with you, and you kept burying it. It's almost like on the surface, everything is working out. Everything is wonderful. Maybe it was profitable, maybe it was fantastic, but something wasn't setting right with you. Because this is your energy. This is that scorpionic energy of it's a time to let go, it's a time to let go. Oh, but everything's so much fun. Everything seems so wonderful. Good intentions, working really hard, doing your thing, but all the while never really loving it. It's so weird how we talked about this, like last week. I'll attach the playlist somewhere above here so that you guys can get right to it. But it's either last week's reading or the week before, where there was this buildup that's been going on of something that you want to be better than it ever actually turned out to be. And then we have brown bear and take time out, know your worth. That means current situation, guys, you gotta dump this shit. You definitely have to face it. And you definitely have to address this person or this situation about you really are not treating me based on the value that I have bought here. I have bought you a great deal of value, but I've taken too many hits and not gotten enough of the honey that I have created. And the buildup is really what I think is going to happen in a confrontation, probably a verbal confrontation with just, this is my value, right? Somebody, it's either you telling them or them telling you. It feels like them telling you. There was some sort of buildup of anger and aggression that's based on not feeling valued. Okay, what is this? And that's what I really want to get into right now. Spirit, can you please just, why is this card in reverse? Because there's going to be a huge change. It means that all of this frustration is leading, it's intentionally frustrating the crap out of you, Scorpio, so that you change. so that you make a dynamic change, so that so this situation becomes a closed chapter and a new one begins. Basically what it's telling me is this is culminating in you having to end something. Knight of Cups. Now, Knight of Cups also means that there is a new offer. Maybe even, possibly a new suitor or a new interest in something else moving forward. So there is an opportunity that inspires you to finally take action and get out of this situation that you have become too tolerant in. I want to get you times and dates. We have Queen of Wands, there you go, which means coming out. Well, first of all, this means Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, feminine, right? It means getting back your star quality, feeling like yourself, getting a lot of attention, and Ace of Swords, which means getting a new opportunity. It means taking a new opportunity. It also means kind of feeling good about yourself again. Investing in the things that make you feel good, looking good, getting your energy back, and getting your vitality back. What it means is you are definitely going to move forward with whatever this new offer has come your way. You are ready for your world to change. Whoever you are dealing with may absolutely not be ready for you to make these changes. So it may come as a total shock to them. Don't let pride get in your way. We have full moon in Leo. That's really interesting, considering pride is one of the things that's going to be confronted. And I'll tell you what it is about right now. It's that pride that comes out when but I've put all this work in. I put all this work in. I put all this work in. I put all this work in. Or, I put all this work in, and so I'm going to stick it out, or I have to go all the way, or I can't move, or no, not that I have to stick it out, because tenacity is good. Pride is not. Pride is what says, I've put all this work in, so I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to argue and scream and yell and waste my fucking energy in a situation that I already know intuitively isn't working. It can also be a sense of, well, this piece of shit was a piece of shit to me, and so I'm going to stay here and argue and waste my energy on arguing with them, instead of just realizing that, you know what, sometimes a loss is a win, right? Sometimes realizing, wow, I've been really ripped off here. Thank you for showing me who you are. Peace the fuck out. I'm better off moving forward, right? Don't let pride get in your way. Pride is a really, really tricky thing, because sometimes it tries to tell you, oh, well, you work so hard for it, you should stick it out. Why? When you're miserable. That don't make no sense, right? So that's a red flag. We also have balanced spirituality with practicality. It means, and Scorpios, yes, you do have a tend to do this because you're so naturally spiritual. You will take your spiritual beliefs and you will twist them to make really wonderfully spiritual sounding excuses for toxic behavior. So ultimately, somebody, not necessarily saying it's you, but come on, let's be honest. Somebody has been letting their pride get the best of them and calling it spirituality and saying, I'm doing it for the right reasons. You're not doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it because you're afraid to change. You're doing it because you're stuck, or you're doing it because you're angry and you're being vengeful, and ultimately all you're doing is sinking yourself deeper and deeper and deeper, when the universe is trying to push you up by showing you this truth to inspire you to get the fuck out of there. Why stay and argue? Do not, this is my thing, do not be an Inigo Montoya. Do not waste any more of your life on revenge. It is a draining, stupid, and honestly, low vibrational behavior that is going to do nothing for you. You will never get back what you've lost. You will never have the value you deserve. and you will stall moving forward. And forward is where the beautiful stuff is. Forward is where the new love is, if that's what you're looking for. Forward is where the new opportunities is. Forward is where you shine. Forward is where you shine. You have wonderful opportunities moving into the future where you can blaze a new trail for yourself and really be a superstar. And we're going to get further into that as well. But ultimately, it's going to take now this new moon to be like, whoop, done. Done. And there's a braveness and a courage to that cannot be understated. But this is the time to do it. Finally, it's almost like when all that dark energy comes around this new moon, you have a chance to be able to say, okay, you know what? I get it. I get where I fucked up. It's like I find myself when the lights go out. And with that, I want to get into where your future is headed. Please do click the link below. Let's get into the extended. I'll see you guys there.